Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, Super Cosmic, and in this video we will be looking at the patch notes for the upcoming July update. That's Deadpool and Wolverine. Live stream yesterday was actually pretty exciting. I was pretty hyped. Couldn't actually join and make a live stream because it was like 3 a.m. in the morning and I was asleep most of the time, but I did watch some clips, so yeah. Anyways, let's get into the update details real quick. This is CM from Marvel Future Fights. We got the two best mutant superheroes have returned to the world of Marvel Future Fights as a duo to save the world in crisis. So we got new uniforms for Wolverine, and Deadpool got two uniforms, and Cassandra Nova as a new playable character. Also, Deadpool is getting a tier 4. So let's get into the patch notes real quick. So Cassandra Nova, she's a blast supervillain mutant female. Okay, she is from the buy subscription list characters. Okay, so you gotta spend like 10 euros to get her, apparently. Her leadership, remove all debuffs. That applies to only mutant allies. It removes all debuffs. Alright. She has mind damage increase, skill damage, bonus damage increase, and decreases damage received by 30% on her tier 2 passive. 4-star passive, she has 30% chance to penetrate with mind immunity effects and 90% chance to become immune to mind damage. And when her HP is below 60%, she applies to herself invisibility and ignore targeting for 3 seconds on a 10-second cooldown. Okay, her first skill, just on mind control and mind blast. Second skill applies burn, stun, paralysis. Third skill, she applies snare, mind control, incapacitation, and applies to herself 100% chance to become immune to all damage for 4 seconds. And frenzy buff 40% on all basic attacks and defenses. Her fourth skill, mind blast and invincibility for 5 seconds. And her fifth skill, she has incapacitation, mind blast, paralysis, and applies to herself 30% recovery from max HP. Right, just heal 30% of her heal, 10 barriers, and a frenzy buff, 50% all attack, all defense, and 25% crit rate. So it's pretty basic, no accumulation, no eye from ignore, just pure basic character that has nothing really going to hit the bottom rock or hit the top. It's just medium level character in their kit. I have to wait and see. She's a tier 3. I don't think she's gonna do much, especially when the meta is literally just being controlled by tier 4 characters. Okay, now we get into the 3 new uniforms. So Deadpool is getting 2 uniforms. He's getting the regular Deadpool that we know, and he's getting Handsome Pool. Handsome Pool actually got leaked many times on Twitter, so if you guys were on Twitter, you probably can see the Handsome Pool leak. But yeah, let's get into the Deadpool uniform. He remains actually a speed superhero mutant male. Okay. He has a synergistic discount, by the way. If you get this uniform for 1050, this one will become for 630, and if you get this one for 1050, this one will become 630. So let's check the uniform effects. He gets 30% HP increase, chain hit damage increased by 10% when attacking, and 25% guaranteed dodge rate. His leadership, it applies to all allies, 40% all attack, all defense, all speeds, and applies to self, remove all debuffs. Okay, his leadership now is called Marvel's Savior. That's crazy. I wish. Alright, the tier 2 passive is called increased guaranteed crit rates by 25%. It gives him 45% all damage, 45% skill damage, and 30% bonus damage with a 25% damage reduction. 25% damage reduction for his speed type is very low, considering the fact that speed types don't have high defenses. They don't, unfortunately, so 25% is kind of low, but we're gonna have to wait and see in action how he performs. So his 4-star passive, it's called Healing Factor, applies to self when HP is below 99%. It recovers 5% of his HP, and when it's below 35%, it gives him 65% recovery of his HP for 1 second. So yeah, it's kind of similar to that of Wolverine, basically being undead, you know. So yeah, the first skill, the target is you not me, just bleed, nothing too spicy about it. Second skill, Deadpool style technique, it gives him iframe, ignore, and counter attack, and also 80% chance to penetrate everything. Alright, everything like super armor, barrier, shield, all damage, immune, invincibility. It gives him super armor, increases all his basic defenses by 50%, and 100% immunity to all damage for 4 seconds. Okay. The third skill, multiverse crossfire. It applies stun and silence. It applies itself 5-second invincibility, and it gives him 1.2% accumulation based on damage dealt. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Fourth skill, nothing too impressive, just some 50% burn that applies for 5 seconds, bleed and stun, or just pure damage on the fourth skill. Fifth skill, it's called We Filmed a Movie Together. Wow, that's reference to Wolverine. Anyways, the fifth skill applies itself. Increase all basic attack and defenses by 35%, and his crit rate by 35%, and decrease all basic defenses by 10%, and capacitation, and also a decreased recovery rate by 50% that applies to enemies. That's very impressive. So this uniform seems like it is made for PvP, which makes me think that this uniform is made for PvE, since this uniform does not have any iframe ignore. So let's check out the handsome pool. Uniform effect is basically the same. Leadership is a little bit different. The leadership applies to all allies 40%, all attack, all defense increase by 40%, and it applies to self, increased basic damage dealt to boss side by 40%. So this leadership has increased damage dealt to boss side by 40% that applies to self, but this one has remove all debuffs that applies to self. So this uniform is made for PvP. This uniform is made for PvE, as I expected. The tier 2 passive, crit rate by 25%. Okay, guaranteed crit rate by 25%. Skill damage and bonus damage by 45%, 30% respectively, and damage reduction by 25%. 4-star passive, literally the same. First skill, just the same. The second skill has paralysis, the same as the second skill in here. No, this second skill does not have paralysis. Oh yeah, no, it does. So the second skill have paralysis and bleed, whereas in this uniform it has counter attack, iframe, ignore, and penetration with super armor and all defense increase with immunity to all damage. So yeah, the second skill has just pure damage and paralysis in here. Third skill, 5-second invincibility with accumulation, same way as this one. No, this one has silence and stun. This one only has bleed and invincibility. That's very impressive. So yeah, the fourth skill is basically the same, I believe. Is it the same? Yes, it is the same. So the fourth skill is just the same. The fifth skill, I believe, is also the same. It applies bleed, decreases recovery rate and capacitation, and defense down with frenzy buff. And in here, bleed, recovery rate decrease, and capacitation, and defense down with frenzy buff. So yeah, this is the same. It's the same. So this uniform is obviously 100% made for PvE. Handsome Pool is for PvE. Deadpool PvP. Alright, so now we're getting to Wolverine's new uniform. He got new uniform. He's a combat superhero. Basically his uniform effect increases his chain hit damage by 20%, excuse me. Skill damage and bonus damage increases by 45% and 40% respectively, and when his HP is below 30%, he gets 100% recovery of his HP. So yeah, he's purely made for PvP. The adamantium tier 3 skill is literally the same. It applies accumulation, penetration, and invincibility for 10 seconds with ignore target's dodge rate. His tier 2 passive gives him crit damage increase by 50%, guaranteed crit rate by 50%, super armor, and all defense increase by 50%. His 4-star passive, 20% ignore defense, and decrease damage received by 25%, and when his HP is below 99%, recovers 6% of his HP. Was it 6% on the previous uniform? I hope it was. I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. Yeah. So this uniform has 6% of his HP. I'm pretty sure it's the same as his previous uniform. Yeah, this ignore defense is totally useless. They could swap it and put, I don't know, guaranteed dodge rate maybe. Makes him even toxic to kill. I don't know. Like, ignore defense, 20% ignore defense is just pretty useless. Okay, first skill, just bleed and stun, nothing impressive. Second skill, bleed and stun as well, nothing impressive. Third skill, bleed and paralysis, and 5-second invincibility with 50% all basic attack increase. Fourth skill, burn, bleed, recovery rate decrease, and all defense down. That applies to enemies. This one applies to enemies all the time. Fifth skill has iframe ignore, and it applies a bleed, recovery rate decrease, and it has debuff, decrease of debuff duration by 90%. Like 90%, that is almost a remove all debuff leadership. That's literally almost remove all debuffs leadership. So he 100% takes out anything that debuffs him by 90%. He decreased that duration by 90%. So that don't last long. If you get like an extra 10% on your cards, I don't think you can, maybe. But if you get like an extra 10% debuff duration decrease from outside sources, then you get like 100% debuff decrease with this fifth skill. Okay, he has ignore targets dodge rate by 50%, 60% chance to penetrate everything, basically super armor, barrier, shield, and all damage, immune, and invincibility effects. It gives him frenzy buff, 45% all defense and all attack increase, and 35% crit rate. It increases his damage by 50% for 2 attacks, and yeah, it has iframe ignore. So this is pretty much the same as his previous uniform, although the previous uniform is still very, very, very toxic to kill in PvP. He's still very annoying. He is still very annoying. Like, the older uniform is still very annoying. Like, if this makes it look even better, then it's gonna be even more annoying to kill. Wow, dude, Wolverine. I remember a time when Wolverine was trash. Now he's the most toxic PvP character. Well, not as much. Sentry's out there too, and he's even more toxic. Anyways, Deadpool tier 4. He gets a tier 4 right now, and I think it's okay. It's mediocre. It's mediocre. Look, the tier 4 skills, the developer team need to take action, serious action. These tier 4 skills should be unique to every character. They should not just be very generic. Because right now, every character who gets a tier 4 is just getting the generic all basic attack increase. Like, it's just generic. It's not unique. There's nothing unique about it. So the developers team need to really consider and reconsider the decisions that they make upon making tier 4 skills. Okay, they have to be very unique to the character, very powerful too. That makes it very unique to them and only them. So they need to be a little bit more creative next time. This is really generic, okay? They've done this with Sentry. They've done this with Deadpool. They've done it with a bunch of other characters, like Dr. Doom as well. Dr. Doom, like, come on. Come on. Please. Okay? Just make it unique, okay? His tier 4 skill just gives him all basic attack increase by 30%. All basic damage increase by 20%, that stacks up to 40, and 50% the increase of his max HP. So, yeah. Cassandra Nova's tier 3 skill has silence, mind control, and incapacitation that applies to enemies, and it ignores targets dodge rate by 80%, and applies 7-second invincibility, and increases damage by 100% for 1 attack. So, yeah. Her tier 3 skill kinda looks similar to that of Polaris for some reason. I don't know, it just looks super similar to that of Polaris. Yeah, that's her tier 3 skill. Doesn't have that much of hits, that many hits, and it's not that long of an animation, so yeah. Okay. Anyways, we have an awakening for Teenage Sonic Warhead. We got an awakening for Jubilee and Dazzler. So Dazzler right now just got an awakening. Interesting. So now We can use Dazzler in higher content like World Boss Legend and Giant Boss Ray Dormammu. Yeah, because she applies to mutant allies, increased damage dealt to boss types by what, 70%? 70% I think, or 60%, but it only applies to mutant allies. So yeah, Dazzler, she's gonna be a top tier support. Yeah, okay. Now we get to the Doctor Doom, God Emperor Doom, and this is where creativity took a trip to Niagara Falls and took a trip to, I don't know, Havana or Bora Bora. It took a vacation, man. Like, this is not a buff. This is not a buff. Okay? Now, Jesus, man, no, this is really irritating. This is very irritating, and the developer teams are playing with their food. Okay, now the God Emperor Doom uniform improvement is as follows. First one, the order of skills used during the autoplay has been changed. Second, improvements have been made in the certain skill. The certain skill is the second skill. The second skill has Eye from Ignore and Counter Attack. What's the change that they do? They added remove all debuffs for 1 second. This is dumb. This is dumb, and I'll explain to you why it's dumb. Because this remove all debuffs that applies to self will overwrite the debuff removal from his leadership that applies for 12 seconds. It will overwrite it. So if Dr. Doom has 12 seconds of debuff removal and he activates the second skill, this debuff removal will override that debuff removal on his leadership that goes from 12 seconds and it will go only to 1 second, which is this one. It will overwrite it. It doesn't add up, okay? The debuff removals, they do not add up. It's not like frenzy buffs. It's not like all attack increases where they add up. These debuff removals from skills do not add up to the leadership, okay? They don't. This will just overwrite it. This is not a buff. This is a nerf. This is a nerf. This is just gonna make it even worse for him. Instead of actually cleansing the debuffs, he's not gonna be cleansing anything. So, like, I don't know what to say. It's not the question. The issue that Dr. Doom has is not a debuff removal, guys. Developers team, please listen. If you are watching this video, please listen to me. Listen to me very carefully. The debuff removal is not the issue with Dr. Doom. The issue with Dr. Doom is that he doesn't have enough damage and he's not tanky enough to withstand in PvP. I'm not saying he should be century level. I'd love to be, but I'm not saying he should be. But at least he should be strong enough to not die quickly. He should be strong enough to deal enough damage. That's the issue with Dr. Doom. It's not about debuff removal. I don't know what's the coding in their system that says it needs debuff removal. I don't understand that. It's not debuff removal. It's the damage. He doesn't have damage. He doesn't deal damage. He deals literally poo damage. Nothing. He cooks no one. He's not really hurting anyone in PvP. He's not. Like, at level 70, he's not making any character work out. So are you telling me that I have to take him all the way to tier 4 and he's still gonna get clapped? Like, I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. This is not the core issue that Doom has on his kits. Okay, the coding on their system, I don't understand what's the code on their system that lets them know or tells them that he needs debuff removal. It's not debuff removal that he needs. It's a damage. It's a damage and survivability. That's the issue with Doom on his kit. It's not really debuff removal. I don't understand. I genuinely do not understand. It's not debuff removal. It's damage and survivability. Make him very strong when he deals damage and make him very tanky when he takes a hit. Because if not, he's useless. He gets clapped by anybody. Literally anybody. Alright, so I really would like the developer team to go back to their systems, open up the codings, see where they should actually buff the damage and the survivability because it's not a debuff removal issue. So that's it. This is the buff that Dr. Doom got, the God Emperor Doom, whatever it is. Yeah, and he gets a 40% discount again, along with the uniform options that he got. So yeah. Oh boy. Anyways, Alliance Conquest improvements. So Alliance Conquest is getting improved. Okay, they have decreased the play time from 4 days to 3 days, and the face time from 2 hours to 1 hour. 2 hours to 1 hour. Okay, I guess. The conquest points seal effect has been deleted. Okay, so bonus points can be acquired in conquered areas according to the conquering time. 1 bonus point can be earned every 5 minutes in each area. So remember in Alliance Conquest, when some regions are being sealed, they have like this lock key on them. Okay, that means they're sealed. Okay, that sealed effect has been deleted. Okay, it has been removed. They removed that. Instead, every 5 minutes you get an extra point. So yeah, that's one. So that's one of the changes that they have done. The existing seal effect has been deleted, and the protection effect that prevents other alliances from attacking for a certain period of time. So the seal effect has been deleted, and the shield effect that alliance applies that lasts for like 15 minutes has also been removed. So yeah, so when successfully conquering the area has been added, okay, now it is advantageous to conquer many areas as quickly as possible and defend them. So you guys can see the the seal effect and the protection effect have been removed. Okay, they have been completely removed. Apparently this is what it looks like. So certain special and dispatch abilities have changed due to changes in conquer time and seal effects. Please check the details in game. So yeah, they removed the seal effect, they removed the shield protection effect. So now it's gonna be even harder, okay, to protect certain areas, certain regions in Alliance Conquest, and you have to pay close attention to that. Make sure that you have reserves to take back those regions. So yeah. Second point, the defeated heroes can be restored at once on team basis in the set characters for Alliance Conquest, manage Alliance Conquest team screen, and the prep phase, at the prep phase. So you don't have to go to the list of characters that have been defeated. You can just go to the pre-built team ups, and you can just resurrect them from that. You can just restore them from that. You don't have to go to the list of characters like how I do, like many players do, and they just select one by one every character they want to bring back and restore. You can just go to the pre-built team ups and restore them from there immediately. It's much easier. Some quality of life changes that I really like. Also, the rules that apply to the winner when switching between the rounds have also been changed. The HP have changed, the passive buff have changed, the passive cooldown changed, and the artifact cooldown will not reset. Yeah, those will not reset. So that means that if a character, if Wolverine's artifact gets triggered, okay, the first round, let's just say this. So if the first round, you go against Wolverine, you trigger his artifact runs out, but he stays alive until the second round, and you go into the second round, his artifact will not re-trigger again. It won't. Okay, so it will remain off from the first round. It will just remain off from the first round. You have to restart the match again in order for Wolverine's artifact to restart as well, to reset as well. So between rounds, it will not reset. It will always be between matches. Okay. So that's one good thing, I guess. I know some people will be pissed. I know I'll be pissed, but hey, I think it's fair. Because it's a little too broken to keep resetting the artifact for Wolverine or upcoming Deadpool right now every single time. Or any character who has immortality, like Madeline Pryor. Yeah, so that's one thing. The codename of the agent who successfully attacked the defenders while the area has not been conquered is displayed in the defense info. Okay, so their name will be displayed in defense info. Okay. that you can get some beef with them if you want. The number of defense success for each defender is displayed on the defense info screen. So this is a good thing. This shows you how good your team is, or whether or not you should change it or not. So these ones over here that you guys see, these lines that you guys can see over here, that will let you know if your team, the current team that you've built and placed in the region or in this node, was it successful enough to withstand 4 defense, 4 attacks, or 5 attacks, or 6 or 7. How many successful defense it survived and maintained. So that will tell you, that will give an idea of whether or not that team is actually really good, or it needs some changes to make it even better and more stronger and more tankier, and holds the region and the node even stronger and longer. So that's a good thing in my opinion. Also, one more good thing that I really applaud the developers team for it, I really do applaud them. They increased the slots, all right, the team slots from 10 to 30. So now we can build 30 slots instead of just keeping it to 10, which is even better because it saves more time, saves more energy, saves more thinking, and makes it even easier for me to just scroll down teams and place a team wherever I want them to be placed. So that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. 7 change is the Alliance Conquest reward has also been improved. They improved the rewards. They're now given the tier 4 materials. I don't know what are these boxes right here. I think they're like tier 3 materials because they're like 3 lines on them, I would presume. Okay, but they have tier 4 materials in it as well. They have tier 4 in it as well. And yeah, the premium cards has always been there since the previous one. Multiverse Saga and the Emblem Collection improvements. Look, to be honest with you, Multiverse Saga is really not my thing, bro. Not my thing, bro. Look, you can purchase this for crystals. Okay, they've added crystals on it. Now you can just buy it for 5,200 crystals for Franklin Richards. If you wish to get Franklin Richards, this dude is dog shit. Honestly, I've seen some reviews on him. He's not good for anything. For anything. Dude is like complete total trash. They took one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe and they dumped him into the most dog shit character in Marvel Universe. They completely wrecked Franklin Richards. So if you wish to spend crystals on getting this fodder, go ahead. I don't care. This Multiverse Saga, the day I saw it on that live stream with the Fantastic Four, the day I saw it being gatekeeped behind 40 euros, I just automatically knew, like, yeah, this is trash. This guy's gonna be trash anyways. Not worth it in my opinion. If you wish to spend crystals for Franklin Richards, go ahead. I won't stop you. The scale cooldown decreased value applied to each battle episode has been changed and adjusted. So before the skill cooldown was at 20%, okay, now the skill cooldown will be at 40%. Okay, this is like the episodes in story mode. Okay, back then when you put it on autoplay, I think it was just like 20%. Now it's just like 40%, which is quicker and easier, I guess. Yeah. Also, the third skill, the remaining entry account display to the boss stages has also been added. Okay, and has also been added to the boss and hit the boss button on the main screen of Multiverse Saga. Yeah, this is just all Multiverse Saga thingy. I don't think I need to cover all of this because I know most people didn't care enough to buy this crap. So yeah, the emblem collection, the emblem location button has been added to check the acquisition location of each emblem, which is good, I guess, but still, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is a very pay-to-win system, very pay-to-win system. But hey, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how good this is, and if it's not pay-to-win, then kudos. But if it is pay-to-win, then major L and skip it. So depends on you. I'm not saying that you should only skip it because it's pay to win. I'm saying you should, if it's like really pay to win, you should skip it because it will ask you to invest so much for so little. Do you get what I'm saying? The issue is not pay to win. The issue is that it will request you to pay so much to earn so little. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. So, yeah, I'm skipping on this one too. Yeah, I'm also skipping on that. So we got new artifacts for Cassandra Nova. It applies to herself. All basic attack increased by 15% and ignore non-boss enemy damage decreased by 15%. I don't understand what's the point of giving her a PvP artifact when she doesn't have anything relevant for PvP. She doesn't have item ignore, she doesn't have enough survivability, she doesn't have enough heal. 30% heal is like okay-ish, but like she's not tanky enough to justify that 30% heal. She's only tier 3. Like, please, come on. Artifact for Negasonic Teenage Warhead is basically instant critical rate and crit damage by 16 and 20%. This is basically similar to that of Thanos, if you guys remember. Jubilee, it applies to self. Increase all basic attack by 25%. That's it. And Dazzler's artifact that applies to mutant allies. Increase basic damage dealt to super villain faction by 10%. And increases all of their basic attacks by 20%. So it's okay-ish. Now, Deadpool's artifact is being reworked. Okay, this is being completely reworked. So back then, the artifact was 60% chance to remove all debuffs received. Okay, there's only 60% chance to remove all of those debuffs and increase all basic attacks by 25%. Now, his new effect in the artifacts is basically this: when his HP is below 5%, it applies to self. Guardbreak immunity. HP does not drop to 1 or below, okay, and recover 50% of its HP after the effect ends, and recovers an additional HP equal to 0.5% of your total instinct, maximum 100%. So, yeah, he's basically getting the Wolverine treatment, right? He's getting the Wolverine treatment, the Undying treatment, immortality effect, okay? Now we get a new feature pass right over here. If you guys take a look at it. Alright, the future pass is just basically the same rewards on the future pass. These are the special icons, just 2 of them apparently, one for Deadpool, one for Wolverine. And we got a new uniform collection for Deadpool and Wolverine, which is basically Deadpool, Wolverine, Handsome Pool, and Cassandra Nova. Okay. And some other improvements and changes that applies to whatchamacallit, team-ups. Okay, you can see the total effects that are being applied over here when you press that, when you press the the team button, or excuse me, when you press the all effect button, and you can see all of the effects that are being applied to the team that you have built up in that current state. Yeah. Also, there's something that has happened in here. So this is the new image of the characters that's getting tier 4. They've changed it. The developers team noticed that and changed it. Basically, on this image, the previous one, it had Gwenpool tier 4 and Psylocke tier 4. Yeah, tier 4 for the Gwenpool and Psylocke. Like, look, I don't know who asked for either of them, but I'm pretty sure nobody asked for a tier 4 Psylocke or tier 4 Gwenpool, but it's Deadpool, I guess they should get a tier 4. Yeah, so there's a new tier 4 for Psylocke and Gwenpool that's coming up, and yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see for that too. These are some basic quality of life changes that applies to Otherworld Battle and World Boss Legend, and you can also see the requirements for for each stage. You can see the requirements for each stage right now, which is even better for null. So yeah, that's really good. They've also added new characters for the guided quests, which is basically Loki, Hulk, well, new uniforms for the guided quest, which is basically Loki's Marvel Studios, Hulk, Titan Hulk, Black Panther, Marvel Studios, Wakanda Forever, Shuri uniform, Rocket Raccoon, Miles Morales, Dr. Octopus, Thor, Allfather, and Groot. Okay, and there's basically some products has been added to the Google Play Store. Yeah, that's basically it. So this is basically the patch notes. 3 new uniforms, 2 for Deadpool, 1 for Wolverine, and Cassandra Nova uniform. And assuming Cassandra Nova is a new character, the Deadpool artifact buff, or reworked, And a major letdown for Dr. Doom again. Really getting irritated and getting mad at this shit because it's dumb and stupid. This is not above, this is nerf. I really recommend the developers team to actually go back and actually rework Dr. Doom's damage and increase it, because this is really dog shit. I'm sorry, this is actually dog shit. So I really hope the developers team is watching this video. I really hope they actually watch this segment of that video, or of they should watch this segment of this video and actually improve Dr. Doom, because he actually needs it. He actually needs it. He needs to be buffed. His damage is bad, survivability is bad, he's not strong enough, he's not tanky enough. This debuff removal that applies to his skill will only override the debuff removal on his leadership. It's not gonna make it work. It's not gonna make it even better. It's just gonna override it and make the debuff removal a lot less than it should. So I really hope the developers team actually rework this this character, this uniform, and actually buff his damage and survivability. These two needs to be buffed. Damage and survivability needs to be buffed 100%. 100%. So yeah. Anyways, we're just gonna wrap this up right here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe and share, so help the channel grow. Hit the notification and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming videos I'll be posting on this channel. Join my Discord server, the link is in the description box below. And the patch notes should drop tonight at like 4 AM European time zone. No, excuse me, not 4 AM. What am I talking about? 8 AM European time zone. Tomorrow morning. It should drop tomorrow morning at 8 AM or 9 AM European time zone. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the live patch. I'll see you guys when the patch goes live and test out Deadpool and Wolverine. So kudos to Deadpool fans for his artifact getting improved and reworked, and hopefully the developers team actually go back and rework Dr. Doom. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Peace.